When am I selling my whole portfolio? I get asked this a lot. I'm going to show you this statement of truth. I'm not selling until all the altcoin bears have finally capitulated in. You will see it. That is when I'm actually going to do it. There's no specific price. There's no specific time. I can tell you right now, the shame of being in altcoins, the regret. You feel like you've committed the biggest sin. You're watching people literally do dangerously high levels of FOMO turbo leverage for 4 years in a row on BTC rather than touch a dirty stinking altcoin. You know how the yin and yang of the universe works. This slingshot has to go back the other way. It has to, and make those people question the fabric of space-time itself. This includes Michael Chad Saylor, Bitcoin maxis, stonk market NPCs, and others. I want to see them. They have to utter your friend Somi's words, which is also my friend Somi, who may or may not be in the room right now. I want to hear them say altcoins are the infrastructure of Bitcoin. I said that. It's a truth. I want to hear them say it. I want to hear them say it right out of their mouth. They're not saying it yet. Okay? They're actually saying, don't worry, we'll get all the infrastructure on Bitcoin. Bullocks! That's like Uncle Peter Schiff looking at a bar of gold. He's like, oh, all the technology you'll ever need is in gold. Wrong. You know, you can't make an iPhone out of gold. You can't make a squeaky chair out of gold. You can't make a robot car out of gold, can you? No. You see? And then what do they usually try to do? They try to say, don't worry about all that. Abstain from that. You don't even need all that new tech stuff anyway, right? Because back in my day, we used to eat wood for dinner. Yes, Grandpa. Okay, you used to eat wood. So, Bitcoin maxis do the exact same thing in altcoins, friends. That's why I am waiting for... I want to see Michael Chad Saylor, friends. I want to see their balls literally squeezed. Okay. I want to see Ethereum puncture them through the jaw, under the chin, and make them go, whoa! What's that? It will happen. Mark my words. You don't get that many cuck mercantile exchange, piece of trash institutions and hedge funds who are all garbage positional traders anyway, because you all outperform holding. You don't get to see them do turbo short on Ethereum while longing a JPEG casino chain and wave their arms around saying, oh yeah, they've solved it. There are so many altcoin bears that I know we are destined for greatness, you know? But the best part is, right, you have to have an appreciation for markets, yeah? When you have the bigger your thesis, the more important it is for you to have spot positions, no leverage, yeah? Very important, because chances are if you have a big thesis, it will take much longer than you think for it to play out. You know Raoul Pal, shout out to Ra. I mean, he's even said since the 1995s when he came into Goldman Slugs, and he had all these like big theses. He goes, these things always took longer than I expected them to play out. You know, that's how the game works out. Oh, you think this is going to play out in 6 months? Oh, it takes like a year and 6 months. Just for example, I mean, look what happened to the cryptocurrency industry on us. I've even got it written here, right? All the doubters of Ethereum, Vitalik, stablecoin supercycle, and the Altseason in front of us, they must pay for their soy drinking sins. Conviction, friends. You always hear about people, they talk about, oh, I had a big thesis and everything plays out. It just like it's hard to get theses. It really is, friends, because you can have a big thesis, doesn't mean it plays out. You know, there's 1,000 things that can go wrong. Like, friends, you know, there's a dude, very interesting when I tell you this. There was a guy in 2013, pretty much, he was betting that China was going to collapse. And what I'll do now, I'll show you the Hang Seng Index, which trades in Hong Kong. It's basically the financial, it's Chinese Ponzi banks giving you some sort of like something to trade and give you like some access to like China if you want to play in equity from Hong Kong. You don't really own shit, you know what I mean? It's just for leverage punters. It's kind of funny. Hang Seng, friends, in 2013, this is like just to show you something. So in 2013, there was this guy who was betting on the collapse of China. And what actually happened was he got squeezed for 2 years. And then this thing dropped 35%. It bottomed out And then what ends up happening is China just print money and blow him out anyway. So this guy, friends, he had a thesis that China and the ghost cities, the economy was going to collapse. And I remember, I think it was in 2013, he collected a lot of money. I forgot how much money he collected to, put on a short. They buy puts on China somehow. They put the position out. He kept doing it every year. I think they gave up after like the second year. Yeah, they did it for they did 2013, 2014, maybe like 2015, they were done. Right? Because it just kept squeezing up. So this is the Hang Seng chart, right? Hang Seng chart went up, came down 30%. This is nothing, right? And it just like started going up anyway. Like when you're betting on this big collapse. So think about that. Like, oh, he had a thesis. There was all these documentaries about China's ghost cities. China had just been going up only. And then look what ended up happening. Like it went down. 2016, what came? Donald Pump comes in, boost of resurgence at the end of that year, and China started printing in 2017. So the crypto bubble happened as well. He basically got blown out. So I just wanted to show you, always be humble, right? Just because you can make a big story and say how something's gonna happen, it doesn't necessarily mean it comes true. But another thing to think about, a lot of the guys who blow up, it's always the shorters. Yeah, because you try to get short 15 times before the actual thing rolls over. That's why we're having some fun here, friends. I'm joining BLM. Bulls Lives Matter. Bulls Lives Matter. Thank you very much. You like that? You like that? Heard him for a squirtin'. It's time we take back what's rightfully ours. Double bubble Altseason. Now, when I say double bubble Altseason, we don't really have to get that. But when we speak of that, it's just that 2013, Bitcoin had double bubble. 2017, it switched to altcoins. 2021, it switched back to Bitcoin. I'm wondering, just like 2017, which is a Donald Trump cycle, I wonder if we get it again. We're trying to manifest it. I would like it. You would too. There's something I've been thinking about, friends. I just can't get it out of my head. Like, all our lives, friends, our whole life is just basically constantly hearing other people tell us something big is coming, Man, I keep thinking about this, when I first covered this for you, I can't get it out of my head. That's everything we do, every fiber of our being is speculating on the future. That's why I also have this Zen feeling crypto's never going anywhere. We're always going to gamble, man. We're always going to speculate on the future. Does it get better? Does it get worse? What are our expectations? Everyone takes a position, and now you can do leverage. It's not going away anywhere. All of the magic is just speculation in our minds. People are always going to take a position. Friends, I've always told you since the start, there actually is a secret to markets. They go, oh, there is no secret. There is a secret. It's called positioning. Yeah, that's the secret to markets. You want to know the real secret? There's actually a P word, okay? Potatoes, peanut, pistachio, nice in donuts. Positioning. Lots of P's in here. Protein. So positioning just refers to what is most of the crowd doing. Are they long or are they short? If they're long, what are they trying to price in? Is everybody positioned, with a bullish sentiment, positioned long? What it means is, if everybody's positioned, they're all playing for a perfect future. Sometimes in the stock market, they actually get that. We've seen that where they come in really long into these earnings and there's a bit of a dip down, but it continues up because the market expected perfect earnings and they get it, right? So it leaves you scratching your head. It doesn't necessarily mean it was a good trade though. Yeah, it's it's literally perfect equivalence. You're betting on the favorite basketball team. Whoever's coming first. Maybe they're only paying $1.10. Maybe the market's literally positioned. Oh, these guys are going to pay $1.10. They're the best team, and then they win. Was it a good trade to take just because it landed there? No. Your goal in crypto, especially in this game of crypto, right? Because everything can go to 0 in 2 seconds, your goal is to look for asymmetric bets, asymmetric upside. That's what your goal is. If you keep taking the bets where you're joining the crowd, what's your upside? If you're buying $1, but you're paying 95 cents for it, eventually you're going to get it wrong. And then that thing you think you're buying $1, it goes down to 0. It goes down to 10 cents. You got to invert it. You're trying to buy $1 for 5 cents. That's a 20x upside. You're trying to buy $1 for 10 cents. That's a 10x upside. Yeah. But obviously you got to be careful as well. You know, we've got our own opinion about Pokeballs and Game Boys, friends, which you have all the time. Okay, everyone's got an opinion on these. But, you know, what people tend to do is they just raise their targets anyway. If you go to ask Michael Saylor, hey, do you think Bitcoin's cheap or expensive? What is he going to say? He goes, this is the cheapest thing ever. It's doing another 130x. We're going to $13 million. You know what I mean? So in his mind, it's asymmetric upside, risking one to make 130. So it's not so easy, is it? That's why I told you the secret to markets is positioning. The secret to markets is positioning. You know, is everybody positioned for a 500K, $1 million plus BTC? If they're doing leverage, yes, they are. That's how you know, friends. The more leverage you get to see in the market means there's more weak hands because they don't actually believe that big target's coming. That's why they're doing leverage. I hope you're learning a lot, friends. It ultimately always comes back to this, right? Don't forget to buy low and sell high. It's the cozy life. You know, it's literally the old stock market mantra and the saying, right? Buy low, sell high. What does it really mean? You have to use positioning. You have to use positioning of the crowd. That's why you can look at ratios, help you a lot. Bitcoin dominance, open interest. That's for trading, but you don't really want to look at that. You can look at, of course, Bitcoin dominance, looking at ETH BTC ratio, looking at the business cycle. You start to get an idea, where is everyone macro position, right? Once you have everybody in, pricing in the future and feeling confident in the future, now you got to worry. Because now you've been climbing that wall of worry and eventually you do climb it. Now there's nothing to worry about. That's when you have to be careful. Like, subscribe, belly button all. Catch you in the next one.